using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Dallas Mavericks just cut the lead to 3 points, but Anthony Edwards responds with a big deuce back. Big shot. He misses that. Dallas gets the rebound. They potentially tied a basketball game. They just bumped it back up to 5, but Dallas aren't going away here. They foul Luka on a 3, which was a pretty stupid thing to do. But we'll see if Minnesota's able to hang on. They're up by 5 points, 102-97 right now. I would like, if this is a college game, I'd say, you know what, we could get to 210, 211 here, because it'd be a bunch of fouls and stuff. But NBA teams don't really foul much late. So Dallas have the ball now. They're going to take it up. Then, boom, they're probably going to play it out and play in a possession, depending on what happens here. But 102-97 with 39 seconds left in the basketball game. We're during a timeout right now. NHL hockey, we're tied at 2. We're going into overtime. Generally, you know, the last time they went to overtime, these two, there was a very quick goal. The Rangers scored quickly. I'm kind of expecting a quick goal here again tonight, Cam. But like I said, there'll either be a really quick goal and or it could take forever. There'll be no in between. Like, there's either going to be like, 40 seconds in and it's over. And it'll probably be the damn Rangers, bro. I'm on the Panthers, so I'm almost doomed. And the Rangers never lose in overtime. And the Rangers seem to be the ones with the hockey gods are smiling upon. And they got the better goalie as well. So, like, that's why if you were Florida, you didn't want this to go to overtime.
No, you didn't,
Shesterkin saved their ass late, bro. Florida tried to score. Shesterkin stopped them.
He saved their ass the whole damn series and against the last series against Carolina. He's the best goalie on the planet right now. But the thing is, if you're Florida, Gabe, they got to score early. Because the longer this thing goes on, there's going to be some crazy bounce or something stupid, and then the Rangers are going to probably win that game. You're right. Overtime, they will find a way. The Rangers are undefeated in overtime in the playoffs, as Carolina knows, as Florida knows. So, Florida, you got to end this thing quick. With you talking about the fast ice, they got to get a guy in front of the net and find a way. Because the longer it goes on, they're going to think, man, the Rangers win a lot of overtime games.
Kyrie Irving just turned the ball over in a key spot. Down 5 with 20 seconds left. And what did I just say, too? There was 38 seconds left in the game. And I said, they're not going to foul. They don't. So, all right, now there's 20 seconds left, and Minnesota are on the line. You lost 18 seconds. They weren't going to turn the ball over. So just put them on the damn line right away, and at least you still have 37 seconds right now Instead, you put them on the line anyways, and there's 20 seconds left in the game now. Like, you took time off the clock. You know, I get it. Coaches don't want to put teams on the line, but you're running. And look, he missed one of the free throws. Like, you know what I mean? But you just wasted 18 seconds in the exchange. And here's Luka, like I said, taking forever to get the ball up the court. And, dear God, Luka it's unbelievable. He walks up the court slowly, even though it took him 7 seconds to walk it up the court. He just hit a three, and they fouled him on the three. And they're setting him to the line for a 4-point play. So they're right back in this thing.
What a
But this is why I was saying you got to freaking foul right away, and you have more time, so stuff like this happens.
Wow. Dallas, it's just the Minnesota Timberwolves have leads game and they just keep you hanging on.
No, but now, Cam, you need Luka. Luka needs to hit this shot, and then you foul him right away, and you need him to miss one of them again, which they could. He needs to hit this, which he does. No, it doesn't go in. That's big. That's massive. As far as the total, too, God, yeah, the total is creeping. Luka misses the damn shot. It would have cut the lead to 2. And so even if they would have missed one, they would have been down 3 only with a chance to tie. Now, now how are they going to pull this off? Like, unless they miss both free throws now, which they're not going to.
Nah, Minnesota hits 1, then they're going to go down, take a desperation 3, and that's probably the game right there. I can't believe he missed that free throw. And you said it, Rizzy. Like, can you believe out of all the things you can't do, Luka has almost just over half, desperation 3 and gets fouled on it and misses the free throw? Man, Minnesota, they left the door open. The problem is the Dallas Mavericks didn't walk through the damn door. That's the worst case scenario if you got money on the T-Wolves. Crazy stuff. Man,
that last. All right, Yankees are up 3-2. So I did jump in on the Yankees. Yankees are now up 3-2. We got the Yankees at minus 160. The Yankees are currently minus 320 right now. So they're minus 320. They're up 3-2. We're in the 6th inning in Anaheim, the OC, California. It's still intermission right now in the hockey game. We'll get back to the hockey game as this basketball's about to end. But, yeah, Minnesota left the door open, and Luka missing he knows it, too. Luka's got his head down still about this. And his stupid total, too. So let's say, all right, they hit them both. All right, they got to foul them still. But I was going to say, can they hit them both? They get to 205. Dallas hits a 3 or 208. It would be a real miracle.
Yeah.
All right, here's Naz Reid. Puts it in right away. Doesn't get fouled. All right, so now it's 5 points, 11.3 left. Dallas calling a timeout. So they didn't even get the foul. Minnesota scored too fast. If they were smart, they would have kicked it out instead of scoring.
Good point. Excellent point.
When Naz Reid had the ball there, he should have just stopped and started going backwards.
You're correct. Now you're leaving too much time on the clock, and crazier things have happened. And I will say this. Isn't it interesting that they had the original line the other night? It was 207.5, and it could get there. But that line move for everyone betting on the over is the difference probably between winning and losing as they adjusted to 211.5 instead of 207.5, and everybody and their mother was on the over.
Yeah, my gut feel. I've been betting the overs of these games. My gut feel tonight. But my gut feel tonight was an elimination game. Minnesota are prevalent on defense. So if Minnesota were going to play well, it would have been a lower scoring. That's why these games are going over, because Dallas are setting the tempo more. They're just sort of playing their game more than they want Minnesota to. But here we are. Yeah, it looks like this game's going to creep just under the number. But, hey, miracles happen. We'll see what happens with the side as well here in this game. So as I stated, there's 11 seconds left in the game, and 105 to 100. All right, we've got Griffin Murphy going to join us in a couple of minutes. I got to get to the best of X as well still. We'll do that a little bit later on. All right, here's the 3 ball. They miss the 3. They get the rebound. Should have just taken the damn 2. They missed the 3 again. And this game is over.
205.
105, 100, final score. The Minnesota Timberwolves live to play another day.
I hit both. Good for me. Hey, Morency, you've been on fire with your overs, though. It's bound to happen. Like, the whole thing, too, is it actually almost still got there with that number. But Minnesota, very, I got to say, Dallas sloppy down the stretch, and you don't expect Doncic to miss a free throw. That is absolutely shocking. That one little free throw kind of changed things a little bit because
it was.
You think about it.
It was too little, too late, though. At that point, they still would have been down. Like they needed to miss the free throws after, or at least they even scored after without it. Kyrie turning the ball over hurt late. He came flying in and he literally pulled a Siakam. He spun around and he threw it to nobody. As we talked about it, played a little bit too fast. And here's Scott Foster just looking for more airtime on the way out. We got to add zero. Like even Dallas. Look at even Dallas. The Dallas players are even bitching at him, going, dude, you can just see them right now. They're all like shrugging at him, going, it's over. Now your Dallas has to come back out and like inbound the damn ball.
What a joke, this guy. You said it. This guy is too much, man. Like, you want a TV show? Go get one.
The game's over, Cam. Like, even Dallas are like walking off the court. It's over. Like, what do you like? We're not scoring 5 points in 0.2 seconds.
He used to go to Shoeless Joe's, and some of the degenerate gamblers had a lot of things to say to him when he was at the bar, Morency. It wasn't very kind when I was in the horse book.
I'm sure he gets it everywhere he goes.
Yeah, right, he does.
Well, Angel Hernandez won't have to take people's crap anymore as he decides to retire. All right, now it's over. 105-100.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Well, Nostradamus strikes again, as I told you. These games, they go to overtime. They're not going to last long. With the quick ice, there was a penalty, there was a power play right out of the gate. Boom, right away. It's over. The Florida Panthers survive and have tied the series. Yeah, that fast, Cam. It's already over. Just like that. It's done.
Oh, I had a 4-game parlay. Panthers under, T-Wolves under. Holy, what a great night. Finally, one for, oh, man, this is good. Thank you, Gabe. Great news.
3-2. Well, I just report the news. You can't blame me. Like good news, bad news. I don't, I don't create it. I'm just reporting it. But, 3-2. Wow, that really was quick, though. As I stated, guys, you get into overtime, man. He's super fast. The ice is super fast. All it takes is one play, and you see it here, boom. Like, you get all right, they had no choice. So it was a minute into the overtime, and like I talked about it earlier before overtime started, I said the puck bounces fast, and the Panthers tipped the puck forward and chased it. The Rangers didn't have a choice but to take a penalty. It would have been a breakaway, kind of, not a penalty shot breakaway, but it would have been. And then, boom, Florida scores like right away on the power play, tic-tac-toe, boom, 18:48. So it took a minute and 12 seconds in. And I swear to God, the freaking sportsbook didn't give me that option of scoring in the first 10 minutes. I would have taken it. Yeah. Griffin Murphy steps up and in right now. Griffin, good to see you tonight. How you doing? Both games have just come to an end. The T-Wolves extend the series, and the Florida Panthers just win in overtime. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm living the dream as always, Gabe. Always a pleasure seeing you and Cam always here on the grid. Happy to be back. Yeah, man, some crazy series we got rolling on here. Obviously, the Timberwolves taking that victory as I just watched over across the room just to see that 105-100 finish. And then the Panthers, as expected, and my sake at least, I thought the Panthers should take tonight's matchup, and of course they ended up doing so in OT and in a fashion so. I think the Panthers are a much better team in this split. Not much better, but they are the better team, and I do think they should be the team moving on. So I love that we got a 2-2 split here, Gabe.
Yeah, this series is all over the place. They sort of look like the better team at times, but it is 2-2. Rangers have the better goalie. We'll be going back to MSG right now. This looks like it's going to be a 7-game series. For everybody, remember when the playoffs, this round started, there were tricky series, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go over 5.5 games in both NHL series at plus 128. So we're getting plus money. Here we are right now. So the Rangers and Panthers just get there for us. We're going to at least 6 in this game. I need one more win from the Edmonton Oilers now to win that parlay at plus 128, which would be a nice hit. I was with you, Griff, but I was on the Panthers tonight. Cam was on the Panthers, but I didn't like the price. This is one of the bigger favorites in the last couple of weeks, actually, in the NHL. If you guys will notice, every point spread odd is the same all the time in these NHL games. Like Edmonton were minus 125, 5.5 last night. They're minus 125, 5.5 tomorrow. Like a lot of the times, it's just rinse and repeat over and over and over. Tonight, dude, earlier today, the Panthers, Griffin and Cam, they were as high as like minus 180. I got a minus 160 at puck drop, but everybody was on the Panthers tonight, guys. Everybody, Cam, was on the Panthers.
Great call, Morency. But this is very important because this is the first Rangers overtime loss. It'll give Florida a little bit of momentum. I know momentum switches day to day. But another point that I'm trying to make, first of all, I loved your bet. And I think this is important, Morency. So the Oilers now, I'm on Dallas. You need Edmonton to win a game. Take a look at the series price, plus 210 or 220, depending on where you shop. So if you like Edmonton in the next game, you got to sprinkle on the series price at that price, because if they tie up the series, it'll be Dallas back to like minus 130. Then you could screw around again, like we talked about the Mark Lawrence formula, Gabe. That is an inflated price on the Oilers, despite me being on the Dallas Stars. Plus 220 is a great price for Edmonton.
Griffin, I don't know if you got an opinion on the Dallas and Edmonton series. So tomorrow night, the pivotal game 4 now. Edmonton minus 130, Dallas plus 108, total 5.5 tomorrow night. What's your opinion on this one tomorrow?
I mean, Gabe, you got to look at it in an aspect of all 3 games that have been played so far. The game 1, the Oilers were there. They just could not finish as far as their setups. They ended up executing. But the Oilers' biggest thing is they're missing their fast breaks. They're missing their advantages. They have the opportunity to put the puck in the net, and they're just not executing on doing so. Going into this series, I figured that this Oilers offense was going to be way too fast for this Dallas defense. Dallas last season was arguably the best defense in all of the NHL. This season, I want to say they finished defensive ratings at like 10. And I know we're talking postseason, so I don't want to get into metrics and all of that nonchalant crap. But the reality of it is that Edmonton is playing better hockey right now. I'm not going to necessarily say so in Game 3, but Game 1 and 2, I love the way Edmonton Edmonton played. They're a faster team. They're a little bit older. They're much better on the power play execution, and that's been the biggest hit and miss for us right now, has been the power play. Nor of these two teams have executed their power play when they're on the power play, and that's been the biggest thing. Edmonton, fourth in the NHL going into postseason when it comes to power play execution. So for them to not execute yet has been a gigantic miss factor for them. Going into game 4 right now, you have to suspect that Edmonton, we already know, they're speedy, they're athletic, they're an offensive dynamic team. Dallas, on the other hand, they're more so leniency on the defensive side of things. This is not the same Edmonton team that we seen on the road last year. Last year on the road, Edmonton was absolutely dominant. This year, not exactly the same story. So looking at this right now, Dallas, if this happens to be the case, where Edmonton does go ahead and take this game, and this goes into a game 7, I think Edmonton may be a little bit too tired, gentlemen. I think that the only thing Edmonton has in this game for them is speed and athleticism, and that is how they can beat Dallas, because Dallas is a defensive team. Right now, just the way that they're playing, they're executing on all levels of the ice. They're just not putting the puck in the net. And I got to say, Ottinger playing absolutely outstanding in the net. He is completely blowing Skinner out when it comes to the goaltending. And that has been a huge factor in this series thus far. So with the way Dallas is playing right now, I really love the way that they're performing very strong on that defensive side, which was an it factor for me. Really
more on the other side.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at SixScore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. We're kicking it right now. Griffin Murphy in the house. Cam Stewart kicking with me. Rick Saratella, NFL Draft Bible All Access Football. Now a scout with the Edmonton Elks will join me in Level 3. Yankees are up 3-2 on the Angels right now. We're into the 7th inning. We've got a bunch of in-game plays that we've given you and that we're riding here. So we jumped in on the Yankees at minus 160 when it was 2-2 in like the 5th or whatever. It's the 7th right now. They're minus 425, up 3-2. If you like the Angels, plus 310. Total is 8.5 in this game. And in fact, it's minus 150 to the under, but I don't think they're going to get to 9 here. I jumped in on the Giants at plus 110. It's still scoreless. They're minus 115 right now in the bottom of the 7th. This Giant team, Griffin, 9-2 in their last 11. They're one of these teams. They're a lot like Cleveland, except Cleveland are lucky. The Cleveland Guardians don't have the Dodgers in their division. But San Francisco, you look at their lineup, and every year people are like, how's this team going to win? They're not good enough. And they're streaky. They go on these runs, and they just grind through, and they win baseball games. I brought it up earlier. It's a stupid trend, but they win these Tuesday night games all the time at home. They wear their City Connect jersey. They're dominant at home on Tuesday nights in the City Connect jersey. At first, players didn't like the jersey and the uniform, but then they realized we always win when we wear them. So I've caught on to this. Just bet the Giants blindly at home on Tuesday nights because that's when they wear these jerseys. But it's scoreless right now. They're a hot baseball team. Blue Jays and White Sox are in a rain delay right now in the 9th. Jays are up 7-2. Guardians are up 13-7. Not much to do with that game. And then you got the Astros and the Mariners. And I'll tell you on this one, Griff, too, and Cam, the Mariners are a freaking under machine, bro. And so are the Astros. I bet it last night. It looks like it's going to hit again tonight. I don't want to mush it, but under machine, Griffin, this Mariners team with that pitching staff.
They have the most dynamic pitching staff. I mean, not in all of baseball, but it's definitely in the top 7, top 8 radius. The problem is this team's offense is averaging like 4.3 runs per game. They cannot score on the offensive side of the ball, and that has been the biggest thing for them all season long. They are not aggressive at the plate. Their pitching is getting it done. They're not allowing a lot of runs on the defensive side of the ball. It's just been their hitting, and they have all of the star power to do so. In a game like this where it's 2-1, this is another under situation. And no, I'm not going to put myself on the line with the Mariners down 2-1 with a plus value play. The Mariners are not scoring runs. I've been stressing it all season long. It's huge that Crawford is finally back in the lineup. He's been hurt for X amount of time. His first game back, his first at-bat, he hit a bomb to light up and get this offense sparked, and they ended up winning that game. So for Seattle, the biggest thing for them is if they can get those bats to come alive, Gabe, they're going to be a good team. They have a great pitching rotation with Miller, with Castillo. They have a great batting. They have a great lineup. They have all the star power. They're just not executing. They're off to a very slow start, and they're not playing the baseball expected of them. So right now, they're one of those teams that I'm either touching a total on or I'm not touching at all, Gabe.
One thing with the Mariners, and all good points, it's true, but they find ways to win games, and they have a lot of players on their team that are perennial slow starters. Like, if you look at the Mariners over the last couple of years, they generally are like a sub-500 team. They'll linger. They'll kind of underachieve in the first half, and then boom, second half, post-All-Star break, the Mariners always sort of get hot down the stretch. You look at this division, it's there for the taking. We talked about it earlier in the week. You could argue the Mariners should have a bigger lead in this division because the Astros eventually will start to win some games, and then, the Rangers should start to put it together a little bit. But I would expect Seattle to be aggressive. We talked about it, guys, at the trade deadline. There's already talk, a lot of Mariner media talking about bringing in Pete Alonso. I do think Alonso will probably get traded from the Mets. We'll see if Seattle's in play there, but there's a lot of talk in Seattle about Alonso there. 3-2 in the Yankee game still. And shout out to George Kurtz, who said he's backyard barbecuing tonight watching the Yankee game. 13-7 Guardians. Yeah. Hey, he's outdoors tonight. That's as far as Kurtz usually goes, his backyard.
You're right. You're right, Gabe. When he went with me to the hockey game, he was like, "Whoa, man, what am I doing here?"
Because I bought him the ticket. That's why he went, because that's what got him out of the house. I bought
even
the ticket.
My
guy's a
girlfriend's
hermit,
like,
Griff. I was like, I'll get him out of the house. I'll buy him the damn
she's
ticket.
Like, I'm wearing an Islander jersey. I'm a Leaf fan. Kurtz is rolling in like Al Borland from Home Improvement with his workwear.
Kurtz has an interesting wardrobe.
Yes, he does.
using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Still 3-2 in the Yankees-Angels game. That's the game that we're watching right now. Now that the NHL and the NBA is done, got a football score with the Guardians and the Rockies, 13-7. And speaking of football, we're officially 100 days away from the start of the National Football League season. Today was the 100-day countdown, Griffin. You notice on the GIF I did for the show, I did 100 days for insiders that are aware. 100 days, baby. It's the official. Now it's sort of like, oh, really? 100 days for the NFL. For the record, 88 days from college football only. The college football season, like literally, it's coming. That's around the corner. And speaking of going to games, we're going to be going to a game, Griff. I know you're in Vegas. If you want to come, we're going to be going to LSU and USC on Sunday, September the 1st at Allegiant Stadium. Sunday night, Labor Day weekend. The kickoff classic is going to be a great game. Total point spread's already out for this game. Total is 66.5.
Gabe, that's walking distance from where my condo is right now. You know I'll be there, and it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to see LSU this season and see how they perform. Now that Daniels is no longer at the helm, it's going to be a very interesting season, man.
They'll still put up a ton of points, but their defense sucks, right?
Yeah.
And USC, we'll see. USC, like if you're USC, you already have it tough enough going into the Big Ten. Now you're opening up the season against LSU, albeit in Vegas. That's going to be lit, though. So let's get to the NBA. We got a point spread for Game 5 now, guys. So Game 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves extend the series. And the T-Wolves opened up. It was 4.5. I saw this just briefly 2 minutes ago. We were during a break. Saw it at 4.5. It's at 4 right now. Minnesota Timberwolves are 4-point favorites on Thursday night. The total is 208.5 right now, Griffin. What's your opinion on the T-Wolves and Mavericks Game 5?
Well, I didn't think there was going to be a game 5, to be honest with you, Gabe. I was on the under, so I did end up cashing that one. But I was also on Dallas on the money line. And there's a very specific reason. There's a mismatch in this matchup. And that is Dallas. If you look at it like this, you've got Luka and Kyrie. These are two arguably the best one-on-one players when it comes to one-on-one matchups in all of the NBA. So if you're going to put up Kyrie against Towns, well, I'm taking Kyrie. And if you're going to put up Luka against Edwards, well, I'm going to take Luka. So when you look at this, this has been the gigantic split. And if you look at it in the paint, Minnesota, Game 1, I'm going to get metric here for you. 62-38, they dominated in the paint. Game 2, 54-42. Game 3, 50-40. And then Game 4 ended in Minnesota's favor in a 44-36 final in the paint. And what was happening was Luka and Kyrie were dominating their one-on-ones against Towns and Edwards, which was pulling Rudy Gobert out of the point. That is your number one defensive player on your entire team, let alone in all of postseason, quote unquote. And their job was pulling Rudy out of the paint. As soon as they were able to do that, if you go and look at the statistics, all of Dallas's points were made from the field, and that was due to these.
But you'll notice, Griffin, tonight, and Chris Finch had been getting called out a lot for his perimeter defense on Luka, not double teaming him, playing him man to man too much. And or earlier we saw you can't have Gobert guarding him out there. But tonight they actually established it. Tonight they didn't play around. You'll notice they beat people up in the paint tonight. Gobert, made a decision. F everybody. I'm going to run everybody over tonight. And it actually worked. It got Luka off his game. He was bitching early. And Gobert was just hard fouling everybody and sort of pushing people around. Edwards was just flying to the rack. Minnesota finally did tonight what they should have been doing. Like we said, though, right? They'd never been in this spot before. So even though I do think Dallas are going to win, and this is where, if you're Dallas, Cam, you screw yourself too. Yep. It messes with your confidence. Because if you sweep, you roll them tonight. Now it's like, all right, guys, we've got 8 days to the NBA Finals. Let's get lit up, wasted tonight and party, and see you in 2 days, and we'll get serious in 2 days about this. Now it carries over, and it exposes weaknesses and flaws, too. Now the Boston Celtics are watching and going, look what Minnesota did here. Look what Minnesota does here, right? It extends everything. And at this point, it probably is going 6. I think Minnesota are going to ride the wave. They're going to win at home, and they're going to send it back to Dallas after. And now if you're Dallas, you could have been off tonight. Now you're going to be playing on Saturday night because Minnesota probably win this next game, Cam, in Minnesota.
You use it all the time. You let them off the hook, Gabe. You use the Dennis Green philosophy, and that's exactly what happened tonight. You know what? We play sports. When you have your foot on the throat of an opponent and you can bury them and you let them up, that's not a very good recipe. Now Minnesota's playing with life. They go back home. Let's remember another thing. They beat the Nuggets in the series. I'm not going to say they're going to come back and win the series and win 4 straight. That's almost humanly impossible. But I think winning the next game with a little bit of momentum, Gabe, line's already dropped from 4.5 to 4. I think they can do that. I think this team's good for 2. I'm going to be taking the Minnesota Timberwolves in the next game, definitely in a money line parlay, and I might lay the 4. I think they gave this team life, and I agree. Great assessment by both of you guys. Things changed in the middle of the floor. Minnesota got tough tonight. They weren't getting slapped around. They were the ones doing the bullying, and that's what they need to do against this Mavericks team, get them off their stride, because if Dallas is comfortable, they'll hit everything.
And people will buy in, Griff, to the conspiracy as well, that the NBA will want a game on Saturday night. So, of course, Minnesota is going to win on Thursday.
That's me. I'm that guy, Gabe.
Yeah, they'll be like, they don't want, you know what I mean? They don't want to be off for 10 days. There's got to be a game on. So it's up to Minnesota to show up. But I actually do think I'm leaning with the T-Wolves on Thursday now, Griff. I'm not in love with the 4 points, but I think they're going to win the game.
So, Gabe, I love where you went with the coaching aspect of Chris Finch. In Game 3, How are you going to leave it all? His plan was, we're going to cover everybody up and we're going to make sure that they don't score the 2-pointer. We're going to D up and just let Luka stay outside from the perimeter. You are coaching the obvious. You have one of the best 3-point shooters in all of basketball. You cannot let him or Kyrie have the ball from the perimeter to close a game out, and that is all on Chris Finch. So I love how you attacked him there. And yes, going into tonight's matchup, it was a completely different outlook. Rudy was aggressive, physical in the paint. But the most important thing was Anthony Edwards. I saw him in a post-game show after Game 3, and he said, you know what? I didn't take enough shots, and that's on me. Maybe they were the right plays, maybe they were the wrong plays. But in my eyes, I should have taken the shots. If you go look at the metrics, not to get statistical again, he took those shots tonight, and the majority of them went in. I want to say Edwards ended with almost 27, 28 points. That is what they needed. You cannot rely on Towns and Gobert to be your leading factors. I don't care how tired Edwards is. This is a young man. This is a gunslinger. And when you're this deep in playoffs, you need to be the guy to go to. You need to be that point scorer. From the field, from the arc, it does not matter. And that is exactly what we saw on display tonight. And that is exactly why Minnesota ended up peeling off with this win tonight. Going into the next game, it's going to be a whole different clash because we're going to see a whole completely different defensive outlook. We're going to see a lot more aggressiveness out of this offense from Minnesota. And I'm just not so sure how this Dallas team is going to pertain regarding you're kind of relying on Luka and Kyrie. You need PJ Washington and guys like that to really step up in these next upcoming games if you think that you're going to end up tearing them up and taking this series and going into the NBA Finals, gentlemen.
Yeah, the problem is with the Maverick role players, like a lot of role players, they're better at home. And that's been a problem with them. That's why they sort of let them off the hook here tonight. Yeah, Dallas have played with fire a lot in this series. Let's be real. You know, you see this in the NBA a lot. Like the Lakers basically led the entire series against the Nuggets, but they lost every game, right? Or they won one of them. They didn't get swept, right? It was like, you see this a lot in the NBA where teams will be right there, but the carpet gets pulled
the
out.
Pacers too, Gabe. Pacers win a lot of games.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Tomorrow night we'll get into the Canadian Open Golf Championship, in which Canadian won for the first time and for like forever last year. It was the first time since the 50s that a Canadian won. And now you're going to see this week, everybody's going to take every Canadian to win, like, because it happened last year.
It's not going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, Gabe, but I think they're going to do well. I think the Canadians are going to play well, but that's
you'll see that, though. I know. You'll see a lot of people are going to be, and even I said it last week. I'm like, wow, wouldn't be surprised if a Canadian actually did it again. Speaking of the Canadian Open, you always think you know everything about everything. At least I do. And I did not know this. I saw the thing that was like, oh, Canadian Open this week. And Arnold Palmer actually got his first ever PGA win at the Canadian Open in 1955, I believe it was.
Yes, he did.
Which is pretty crazy to see.
You know what he won, Gabe?
I've been around the Canadian Open forever.
I think he won in my course that I clean. I think he won at Mississauga Golf and Country Club in 1955. I think off the top of my head, because I remember back then they hosted the Canadian Open right in my back door where I used to clean everybody's clubs. So yeah, I'll double check that information for you. But great call by you. Arnold Palmer's first win was at the Canadian Open. Excellent call.
We've always said the Open Championship should be big for everybody. You know, whether it's the Irish Open, this Open, that Open, whatever Open it is. Like, the players should show up for them. But we'll have picks tomorrow. San Francisco Giants, still scoreless right now, but they got a runner on second base with one out. And now they're minus 225. I got them at plus 110. This would be a nice hit here. So what do you think, Griff? Last thing, actually, I wanted to get this best of X up here with the NBA jerseys. Let's go with the NBA jersey one here when you guys get the opportunity. Hit the music. Best of X. So I saw an interesting tweet today, and they said, which is the best? These are 90s NBA jerseys. And when you look, too, there's a bottom page. We'll get to that one in a second here, but when you look at these jerseys, some of them are misses, but on this page alone, there's no question. The Vancouver Grizzly jersey just screams off the page. The Orlando Magic always suck. The pinstripe, they always have bad jerseys. That Black Bulls one is, man, okay, whatever. That Atlanta Hawk era is terrible. The Charlotte Hornet jersey's always been terrible. That Heat jersey sucks. The Sixer jersey, hey, that's the Allen Iverson jersey. That's that era. That's not bad in my opinion. And that Houston Rocket jersey's hideous.
It's the worst out
Griffin,
of them
you're
all.
a little younger. I'll get Griff's take first. You're a little younger. What do you think about some of these older NBA jerseys? That page first, the one we just showed.
The Grizzlies one's the absolute pop-out swagger shot for sure. No question. I mean, the Bulls picture in general just looks like the general Bulls jersey as it is. Now we shift over. We've got Indiana.
This is sweet. So, look, that's a nice Pacer jersey. That Pacer jersey, to me, is the classic Pacer jersey. That Utah Jazz jersey is terrible.
I like the Raptors.
The Raptors is sweet. This is a good one, though, this page. I don't know why the Knicks are on this. The Knicks one looks the same all the time. Like, it's a little different. But it's not much different, guys. Not much different. The Phoenix Sun one was good, though. The dark Phoenix Sun one, the Seattle one, but get the Brooklyn Net one up, which is now that was the New Jersey Nets, actually. But the Nets jerseys have historically always kind of sucked. I thought that was their best look. This is the New Jersey Nets classic best jersey that they had. But when you look at these jerseys, just when you compare to the modern baseball and even some of these NBA alternate jerseys and stuff, the jersey, I mean, I'm not an old man, Griff, that's going to say, oh, the game was better in the old days. The jerseys were definitely better, though.
Hey, I'm not going to argue, nor am I going to disagree a little bit. I mean, hey, listen, man, I'm all about the jersey. I love that aspect. And I got to say, who was it, the Blue Jays, who just wore a new uniform the other day? The Blue Jays had the sickest jerseys I've seen in a hot minute. But I will say,
they didn't wear it yet. I tweeted it out. Yeah, they're City Connect. They've got the skyline in Toronto and stuff like that.
make the argument, Gabe, that the Montreal Expos and Blue Jays jerseys, both teams are the cleanest jerseys going. The Expos jersey's gorgeous, and the Jays baby blue is gorgeous. Straight up fire jerseys.
How could you forget about the Montreal Expos, man? Are you kidding me? Absolutely. I loved their uniforms. I loved their team. That was the Vladdy era with the dirty helmet. Are you kidding me? That was the best era of all when the Montreal Expos were rolling, man. I miss that generation for sure.
I was the post-game show host then. His helmet was disgusting. A lot of pine tar and weird stuff, man. I used to see his helmet. I was like, man, like I used to see him. He used to just stick his palm down to pick it up. Like he wouldn't lift it up. Yeah. He'd stick his palm down on top like a basketball, and it would stick to his hand. So he just sort of took, and it would stick to his hand. He'd put it on his head.
Yeah, you're right.
And he'd have like a hard time getting his hand off. Like he's sort of like, you know what I mean?
It was made of dirt, rocks, and maple syrup. The thing was so greasy and weird.
No, it was like it was thick. It had like this thick goo on top of it, like over the logo. You couldn't even really see. When the pitchers, this is a nasty story. When the pitchers, a couple of years ago, before Bauer snitched them all out, when they were like putting glue and they were really doing weird stuff, surfboard wax was a big one. They basically just were sitting around coming up with like everything. Yeah, what, mayonnaise? Really? Okay. Like they would try anything, and surfboard wax. You wax your surfboard was really, really good. And they started doing like glue as well a little bit to get a spin rate going, except they were putting so much stuff on their hand. And this is a true story, so I'm not making it up, an anecdote here. A pitcher threw a pitch, and it was a wild pitch, and it bounced into the dugout. And a manager picked up the ball, it rolled to him, and he picked it up, and he got freaked out and grossed out. A piece of the pitcher's skin and finger was on the ball.
Good for
it's so sticky, the pitcher is throwing it, and it's ripping his flesh off, man. And that manager's like, oh, my God. It's like,
no DNA.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. We've got a couple of minutes left with Griffin here, kicking it in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we talked about the four. There's 4.5s popping up now, too. Total 209.5. So that's sort of going up a little bit here. And I wanted to get the updated futures right now. So the Boston Celtics are minus 225 favorites right now. To win the NBA championship. You can get the Mavericks at plus 225. The T-Wolves are plus 1,500 right now. Griff, we only got a couple of minutes left here with you. Looking ahead here, do you think the Boston Celtics are getting ready to win another championship? And their first one in a long time, actually.
Well, absolutely, Gabe. They're looking ready to win a championship, but are they going to do so? I'm not so sure. Do they have the coach to do it? Not necessarily. I'm not in love with them, but do they have the talent to do so? Absolutely. And now that you have, 7-8 days off, a healthy Porzingis coming back into the lineup.
They're deeper than Dallas, bro. They're just deeper than Dallas.
It's not even close. You've got Tatum, you've got Brown, you've got Horford, you've got White, you've got Holiday. I mean, they're all showing out on every single level. You're deep. But on the other case of scenario, once again, you have Dallas who's coming in, and they're playing tremendous basketball right now. But, again, they're not deep enough. Minus 220, though, to win the series, I'm not putting my money on that. That is definitely way too much juice for me to jump on. If I'm going to sprinkle anything, I'm going to sprinkle it on Minnesota right now, which is nearly impossible. You're asking for a miracle. Or you put it on Dallas, and I believe Dallas on a futures line is only like a plus 150. So for me, there's really no value at this point in betting in any more games. So I would wait one more game and see if Minnesota can take this next matchup, get a little more juice out of Dallas, and then attack that Dallas line going into the finals, because we already know what Boston is capable of doing. We know that all the talent they have. We know how good they are on the offensive side of the ball. We know how good they are on the defensive side of the ball. We know how much depth they have, but we're also aware of how capable they are of screwing up games. They did it against Miami. They dropped a brutal game where they lost by 20, 30 points without Jimmy Butler. They did it against Cleveland where they lost by, 10 points? That was without Jared Allen, who was playing like an absolute star. And then they did it again. They played the Pacers, and Halliburton wasn't at full health by any means. So you're really dealing with Siakam and Miles Turner as your two power players. They haven't dealt with anybody in the postseason yet that you have to go one-on-one with Luka or Kyrie in this situation. So for me, to take a futures bet right now, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'd like to see this Minnesota-Dallas series break open a little bit more so I can get a little bit more plus value, and then I'll jump on board in a future aspect. But right now, there's just no value here, gentlemen. I just don't like it, Gabe.
For me, I just find Boston, their teams are annoying. So it's almost wishful thinking. I don't want the Celtics to win. I'd prefer if Dallas wins, but you see Dallas. They got problems with Minnesota. They're going to have problems with Boston after this. Drew Holiday will be a big difference maker. And the wheels are falling off for me. The Yankees just blew the lead. 4-3 for the Angels right now. And they got runners on first and third. His barbecue's ruined.
Exactly. It's ruined, Gabe.
Kurtz is just steaming right now. Kurtz is sitting there steaming. Might be tuning into the show even, watching both events. He might be listening because I know he does some behind-the-scenes work as far as the syndication is concerned. So he might be tuning in. Right? I feel your pain, Kurtz. This is very upsetting, actually. It's gone from 3-2 to 4-3.
The big thing, though, Gabe, about Los Angeles is they're terrible this year. Let's put that all aside. But they're very good at night when playing at night games and against left-handed pitching. They're hitting, I want to say, 262. Well, Nestor Cortez got the start for New York today. He chucks from the left side, and he's been shaky to his past three outings, I want to say. And Griffin Canning got the start, I want to say, for Los Angeles, and he is due for a good outing because this kid could actually chuck. He's been in the leagues for, I want to say, 3 years now, I would say, and he's had some really good outings and he's had some bad outings. So this Angels team, again, they're playing above 500 baseball during night games, and they're smacking the hell out of left-handed pitching. So this was not a bad bet going into it, taking the Angels this one, gentlemen.
Still up in the air, one-run game. Yeah. Griffin Murphy, where can people find you online, Griff?
I'm at DocSports.com. My Twitter is at GMurphyWins, and my Instagram is GBaby. Very simple and straightforward, gentlemen.
All right, Cam, what's your pick for tomorrow, Oilers or Dallas Stars?
I'm probably going to take the Stars again, Gabe. Love that team.
Level 3 coming up next.